Yeah, I don't see anything lighting up at all. Do we have anything? Nothing. So, how do we do with our first car in our trading up to a Porsche series for $1,000? My name's Darren Hall, and, well, I'm a Porscheaholic, and one of my biggest vices is my inability to walk away from an abandoned, unloved Porsche. So, please join me as I try to bring back to life one of the strangest and most misunderstood, over-engineered Porsches, affectionately referred to as the 711 supercar. Well, this one's going to be fun. Our journey starts from the mountains of northwest Montana all the way to the backwoods of central Idaho, where the man I was about to meet about a car was much more interested in the manufacture of good old gluten-free, non-GMO corn liquor than he was in German-engineered sports cars. I'm not much of a connoisseur of nuclear waste, but I'll tell you what, if you're looking for a moonshine that'll set your hair on fire, this stuff will do it. One burp from this will jumpstart an F-16. Now, it's because of that very same moonshine that I was unable to completely film the extraction of the 928. The seller was a little bit worried about people finding out where he was at, so I was only able to get just a few photographs. It's 7:30 in the morning. I just got home at about 3:30 in the morning after a 10-hour drive to fetch a rare 80s poster child, the Porsche 928. The Porsche 928 debuted in March of 1977 at the Geneva Motor Show with the intention of replacing the iconic Porsche 911. Its production run was from 1978 all the way to 1995. It also won the prestigious European Car of the Year in 1978. This is the only sports car to ever achieve this. Now, while this car is an absolute disaster, it does have a few things going for it. One, 75,000 original miles. Two, there's 3 pedals and a pancake mixer. 3, no sunroof. 4, this is an early 1978 car, and it still has its original paint. Kind of. There's not much there, but we're gonna clean it up as much as possible. It will require a respray at some point. Before we get this old girl in the garage, check a pulse, and put a defibrillator to her, I'm gonna get the whole thing cleaned up on the outside while it's still here in my driveway. Yeah, looks like we've got some old presents here. Gas shocks for the trunk, rear hatch, and the hood. Maybe they'll work. One of the most satisfying processes of resurrecting an old abandoned car has got to be the initial cleanup. So, sit back and enjoy while we strip back years of neglect and dirt. Besides the piles of leaves in the car, the carpets are actually in pretty decent shape. Now, at some point, we're going to do a shampoo on these carpets, and we might also have to do a re-dye. Just depends, but I'm going to do my best to make sure we salvage the original carpets. Another pile of leaves to contend with, and how they got underneath the floor mats, I've got no idea. I'm sure you can see from the video, I don't have the seat bottoms for this car. So, if you or anybody you know has a set of rear seat bottoms in cork, let me know. I can sure use it. I'm sure you're curious how this car ended up in a field in the first place. The original owner found himself stranded one night with a crank no-start situation after having dinner with his wife. The car was then towed to a local mechanic where, after weeks, the mechanic found that it had a bad fuel pump. Shortly thereafter, the mechanic fell ill, and a few months later, fortunately, that mechanic passed away. Many months later, the owners of the property where the maintenance shop is located regained possession of the property. Over the course of 2 years, notices were sent to the original owner of the car, and there was never a response. So the car was towed from the maintenance facility and dropped off in the field for 20 plus years until I came along. 20 years of sitting outside in the hot summer heat of central Idaho didn't do these leather seats any good. They're hard as a rock. So I'm going to give them a good clean, and then I'm going to apply a conditioner to rehydrate that leather. So we'll let it sit for a while, and hopefully that leather will soften right back up. This 80s icon's got me feeling a little nostalgic, so I think we're going old school. We're going to give this thing a wash with a bucket and a mitt. This is the first soap and water bath this car has had in over 20 years. And this is the first step in ascertaining if the paint is at all salvageable. Okay, I'm jumping way ahead of myself as far as how this thing is mechanically. I mean, we've got no idea. We're gonna have to go through the entire car, but I really want to get some compound on that paint and see if there's any shine left in it. So before we move it in the garage, I have to start doing that. I'm gonna do a little bit of it here. We're not gonna do a full color correction detail on it yet. I mean, obviously the car needs repainted, but I just want to make it look a little bit better. Bit more on the 928. It was a radical design shift from the 911, being a wedge-shaped fastback coupe Grand Tour featuring pop-up headlights and a 4.5-liter water-cooled V8 engine producing 240 horsepower, and the engine was up front. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to get rid of some of this with some sandpaper and see how far we can go. Now, it is so oxidized, I have no idea how much paint is actually left. So I'm gonna try not to burn through it. We'll see how this goes. After some light sanding with some 2500 grit wet sandpaper and good old help from our DA and some light medium cut compound, that orange paint, well, it's starting to turn red. Most of this just might be salvageable. If you're enjoying the video so far, and you want to see more on the 928 and more Porsche related content, right now is a great time to hit that subscribe button and drop me a comment. I can use all the support I can get. Today's a dirty day, and I'll tell you what, I've got my grubs on and they're fitting for this car. I'm wearing some 80s Guns N' Roses. So, getting ready to jack it up, pull the front wheels off. I've got to clean in the wheel wells, get this as clean as possible before I move it into the garage, because I'm going to be under there a bunch. Since the wheels are coming off, we might as well go ahead and clean up 50 years of road grime and weather. I'm going to use some steel wool on the face of the wheels. I'm not sure what the factory finish is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be a mirror finish or a satin finish? So if you know, let me know in the comments. I've been scrubbing and scrubbing on this car, and this arm is getting tired, I can tell you that. So while I was cleaning the interior, I did come across some new old stock gas shocks. So I'm gonna give the arm a rest. Let's get the hood popped open and see if these gas shocks will hold it up, because we're gonna spend a whole lot of time under this hood trying to get it to run. Yeah, this is about as ghetto as it gets. Got some vice clamps or vice grips holding up our hood, so that's not gonna work. There's one. Let's see if one will hold it. Whoa, not quite. Nice. All right. Moment of truth. Let's see if those are any good. Not really. Looks like we'll be replacing those. They've been sitting too long. All right, well, that was a fail. So I'll tell you what, let's move on. I'm gonna climb into the back of this thing and get a battery hooked up to it. It'll be the first time a battery's been connected to this car in 20 years. We'll see if that rear hatch will pop open. And we might also see if there's anything else electrical in this car that's functioning. That's where we need to go, right there. And the only way to get there is climb through the back. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some jumper cables on it, and then we'll have the battery outside remotely and see if we get any power. Negative, connected, and they're positive. That'll do the trick. We got a good battery. We got power to the car. Actually just heard something click in the car. Well, that's a good sign. Let's see what we have for the trunk. Before I couldn't get it to move. And I still can't. All right, we'll have to work on that later. Let's see if anything works inside. Does the horn work? No horn. No windshield wipers. Yeah, I don't see anything lighting up at all. Do we have any headlights? Headlights aren't coming up. Let's see if they're on. That's a big negative. Do we have anything? Nothing. Oh, look at that. Let's hit the power. Is there a CD in it? Hello? Brooks Dunn. It's the first time this has had power in 20 years, so look at that. It's at least playing some, it's playing some music. All right. Well, that was pretty anticlimactic. We just plugged the battery in and absolutely nothing worked for the most part, with the exception of the radio, which the car wasn't born with. So I need to climb in the back. We need to get that hatch open. So I'm going to attempt to try to figure out how to open it from inside. I sure hope that panel in the back will come off without destroying it. Yeah, unlikely, huh? Oh boy, Darren, what a mess. I'm gonna get a trim tool and lightly see if I can pry that panel off. I can't imagine that I'm the only guy that's had a 928 that couldn't get into the rear hatch. So someone in the comments knows something about 928s, and they're probably cringing right now at what I'm doing. Gotta be another way. Let's look at the outside again, huh? I have been struggling to open up the rear hatch on the 78 Porsche 928. Well, good news, I have an owner's manual, and it's for a 78. So if we go to the right page, here we go. This is telling us how to open it up. This tells us put the key into the lock and turn it counterclockwise in order to open it. Well, I've been outside turning it left, right, every way I can. It's not moving at all. The entire tumbler is frozen up. Let's go take a look at it. So the good news is I got it open, all right? And I struggled and struggled. Put the key in, did my best to move it counterclockwise. And like I said, the entire tumbler is frozen up. So what I ended up doing, and this is a no-no most of the time, I put a pair of pliers here to just gently rock this and try to free up the tumbler. Turns out it turns clockwise in order to open it, not counterclockwise. So the Porsche manual, it's incorrect. Now I've got the hatch open. I've got access to the battery cables and of course the grounds. I think we'll clean those up before we hit it with the battery again. What we need to do is pull this off. We'll clean up this ground point. I'm also going to clean up both of the battery terminal cables. And then hopefully we'll get a true 12 volts go into that fuse box before we try to power anything up and check those fuses. Those are clean. ground is kind of loose. Yeah, that's no good. Well, that might be part of the problem right there. This is pretty interesting. This is the wrong stud. Someone's changed this before. And I have a suspicion this might be a 3/8. So I'm gonna go to the hardware store, see if I can find something similar in metric, and see if we can actually get a good ground. It needs a 10mm 1.5 pitch coarse thread. This particular bolt is almost a 1/2 millimeter bigger in diameter than a 3/8. Okay, there's a nice tight ground. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the jumper cables and we'll turn the key on and see if anything else comes alive. Turn the key right now. Now the defrost is coming on. That's about it. How about headlights? Negative. Horn. Nothing. we still don't have anything. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of nothing working here. All right, as you just witnessed, absolutely nothing for the most part works in our Porsche 928 electronically. So we got to get to that fuse box panel. Where's it at on a Porsche 928? It's right down there on the passenger side footwell. So we have to remove the carpet, and there should be a wood panel right there. Pull that back, and then we'll have full access to all our fuses and relays. I'm hoping and praying that we've got no rat nests under here. And what I mean by that is both literally no rat nests, and second, hopefully nobody's got their dirty little hands on it already. So we'll find out. Well, certainly looks like there's some corrosion down there. We'll start checking fuses. So now all these little torpedo fuses, I'm gonna change them all. They're cheap. I've got a bunch of them on order. I'm gonna check them anyway. I'm just curious if there's any continuity in them at all. These guys, however, all our relays, that's what I'm worried about. Those suckers could be very expensive. That one doesn't look good. That's a good sign. It's good. Good. Bad. Pretty intermittent. They're corroded for sure. Will be replaced. So I pulled each and every one of the relays out, and I've cleaned all the spade connectors. So they should be clean enough to get juice to them. Now, if these click, but they're not powering anything, that most likely means that the switches inside are corroded and dirty. If they don't click at all, well, the coil itself inside the relay is probably fried. So we'll see if anything else lights up. I'm sure we're gonna have to go back and either take some of these apart or replace them. Then something that's very interesting. So this car was broke down and sat for 30 years, well, 20 plus years, because of a bad fuel pump. Well, this fuse right here, it's toast. So curious if anybody ever looked at that. You can actually see some of the burned scorch marks up above. Anyway, we'll get to that later. All right, new gas struts to hold up the trunk. Well, they've arrived. Let's get them on. Perfect. You realize that this is the first thing we've fixed on this car, with the exception of getting this to operate properly. Maybe. Ah, there we go. Look at that. Moving on to the hood. Hey, no more vice grips holding up our hood. Success! Hey, look at that. It's a small victory, but you know what? It's a victory nonetheless. 928's in the garage. We've identified that absolutely nothing works. So it's time to get serious. We're going to have to go through each and every system one by one to get this sucker on the road. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.